if my credit card wasn't stuck to a whole bunch of pieces of paper.
Yeah, I hate that.
Here you go.
Thank you. There you go.
Thank you.
The large Coke, no ice for you. Alright, 2 crisp chicken burritos and 4 sides of sour cream for you.
Thank you very much. You have a great day. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Hello guys, give me a second. It doesn't look like this is going to let me do landscape mode, oddly enough. Hoping you get a wide angle, that way I can't have the problem I had last time, but I guess it's not going to let me do that. Just give me a second, I need to put my credit cards away. Hope you guys are all having a good day. I know this definitely isn't my day, so I have to go to work. Yeah, it's locked in portrait. That sucks. Alright, yeah, there we go. So today, I thought I would tell you guys a little bit about myself, about my backstory and stuff. Meanwhile, got my food here. We have an hour to make it to work. Usually it takes me around 45 minutes, so that's going to give me like 15 minutes to eat my food. On top of that, I still need to put brake fluid in, so not really the best of plans. But hey, I'm not always the best at plan makers. I'm probably on the worst side of plan makers. But anyway, as you guys can see, it's not as bright as I was hoping it was going to be. It's still brighter than it was last night. Sadly, I left just as the sun was going down. So, you know, that's... Like I said, not the way I wanted it to work out, but hey, what you gonna do? But let's get down to it. And this is a crappy song. Let's skip it. Okay, I can do with this. If it gets too much on my nerves, I'll skip it again. But anyway, my backstory. Oh, that's going to be a fun one to tell. Well, let's put it this way before I start. I've 100% seriousness, I've literally had a studio, and I'm pretty sure it was Warner Brothers trying to purchase the rights to this, but me being my stupid and all-wise self, guess who said no? Me. Guess who decided to hold out on a lawsuit, and now statutes of limitations apply? Me. Every single thing that could make me rich, I fucking blow it. Either me or someone else. More than likely it's someone else. Movie rights my dad denied, and the lawsuit, I was put into the care of my grandmother, which she refused to go with the lawsuit, even though it was a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit. And hello, yes, hi, bad connection. I have 4G, so I don't know why. It's like you can fuck off, but I will re-angle the camera just a little. There we go. That's better. But anyway, as you can see, Washington's alive with people now. Oh my God, it's a miracle. We're actually stuck in traffic. I might just end up eating in my car. That doesn't sound like that bad of an idea. No, fuck, I'm going to wait. I have a fucking story now. First of all, for those who are wondering, yeah, I have a lisp. I have a tooth of crook, so it kind of makes it really hard to pronounce some words. But anyway, that aside, backstory. Fuck. Ooh, where should I start, you know? Guess we'll start at the beginning. My grandmother, she has a disease called Munchausen. Fuck, it just came to my family in San Diego maybe listening to this sometime in the future. Fuck, and they'll be mad at me then, but whatever, I don't fucking care. Honestly, this is what happened. They can't just deny it like they've been. I'll get further on to that in the story. Anyway, so yeah, my grandmother has Munchausen. She had my mother. She was abusive towards my mother. I'm not sure. I can't go much into detail on that. From what I understand, it was much how I was abused by her when I was in her care. So, but anyway, but because of that, for people who don't know what Munchausen is, Munchausen's a disease that makes you seek out attention any means necessary. It's mainly passed on to daughters through a disease called Munchausen by proxy, and that's usually what daughters of people with Munchausen get. Munchausen by proxy is a little bit, hell, not even a little bit, it's a lot more severe. So they go from injuring themselves for attention to injuring those who are close to them, so they can feel like they're needed. Now, if anyone's wondering how that works and why that's like that's psychological, I'm guilty myself. I have a bit of it. That's one reason. Another reason I'm going to counseling. Thank God the military didn't even detect that. I intentionally left it out of my records, but Munchausen, you're all about yourself. You're going to neglect your kids. You're going to act like they don't care. You're going to want all the attention to be on yourself. You may even make up stuff about your kids, saying, oh, how much they make my life hell. Even though those particular kids would do nothing but help. Nothing but make sure they're there for this particular person every single second, because they thought the injuries were real. But then they just go around talking to your family, saying, oh God, it's so much hell, I can't deal with it, mercy me, and they end up sending the kid to a psych institution. Anyway, going back. Now that's going to make the kid feel like they have no attention. They aren't felt like they're needed. They feel like they're useless. It's a lot. I can go a lot more into detail, but I hope you get the gist of it. But anyway, so my mother had that. She met my father. My father, on the other hand, oh my God, that's a story. That is a real good story, but that's a story for another day. Just him in general. I mean, holy fuck. He's a bright man, but he gets himself in a whole bunch of fucking fucked up scenarios. Anyway, where was I? Yeah. So, my mother met my father. Low connection warnings. My mother met my father. They have me, of course. Do this whole thing. He tells it better than I. I'm just saying hearsay at this point. Just a heads up, guys. I'll let you guys know when I'll be saying my own stuff. They have me. I'm not going to go too much into detail about the birth. I mean, that upon itself is a fucking comedy show. I mean, if you guys really want to hear it, okay, message me in the comments. I may type it out, but it's not stuff. It's not appropriate. It's not appropriate for YouTube. So, aside from that, they had me from the day I was born. I was underfed. While my father's trying to feed me, my mother would argue, saying, "Oh no, he's fed enough. He's fed enough." Of course, I wasn't. You know, I'm not going to get too much into that. I'm going to get into the juicy stuff. 2 years later, when I was 2, I became very, very sick. At this time, my father was in jail for domestic violence. Ha, funny one there. The gist of it is he tried to get me out of my mom's custody. My mother said, this was during the whole, I forget what the case, it was the whole domestic violence case thing, court case going on, back during the time when all of the abusive stuff was taken seriously. Yeah, that came out wrong. When all the abusive stuff was taken like it was 100% true and there was no doubt, and they would always automatically assume it was true. But anyway, because of that, my father said, "You need to get counseling." She agreed to counseling. She then went to go pick me up, called the police, said she was abused. She got herself bruised up a whole bunch, went to the police station, wrote a report, then left the state. My father was arrested on domestic violence charges. 6 months until it was expunged. He then went down to California, visited me, only to find out that I was very sick. I was going in and out of ICU, intensive care unit. He knew my mother had Munchausen by proxy. He tried to get the records to the hospital, Rady Children's Hospital. They ignored the records, didn't do any additional tests, even though he kept on telling them she had a record for poisoning people, etc., etc., etc. Still, hospital refused to do test. He contacted CPS, they refused to do the test. About, I think it's 2 months later, a nurse finally walked in. Well, no, it's not even that. That wasn't it. My dad got a hold of an email she sent saying I was going to die that night. So they posted a security guard outside my room, and lo and behold, they found my mom feeding me Ipecac and arsenic. Of course, they test my system, they find out I'm 10 times over the lethal dose of Ipecac and 5 times over the lethal dose of arsenic. They were extremely surprised I was still alive. They said if they would have waited much longer, I would have been dead. They would have said if I was, they went as far as giving me a time range. They said 2 days. They said if I wasn't there for they didn't catch it, I would have been dead in 2 days. Anyway, so I get taken out of my mom's custody. She gets sent to jail. Then it gets to the fight where either do they give custody to my Munchausen grandmother, or do they give custody to my father, which had a clean record at the time, and he came from a family of law enforcement. So it was basically, do you want to give me to a disabled person who has Munchausen, who just gave her daughter Munchausen by proxy? And all on top of that, she claims she's physically disabled from the waist down. No, nothing against disabled people. I'm just... But anyway, it was either that or a perfectly well father. Of course, the court say, I have the record, fuck, if you guys don't believe me, I can fucking post it. But it literally says in the court record, I am better for her. Not she's better for me, I am better for her. because of her whole disability and whole depression thing. I don't know the gist of it. I just know that's what it says in the record. Pissed me off when I read it. But anyway, they put me in the care of her. My grandmother immediately said my father couldn't see me anymore. She got me into school. She kept on telling these schools I had all these psych disabilities, all that crap. 5 years in, when I was 5, she finally institutionalized me. Again, I'm sorry, I can't say it. She put me in a mental asylum. Yeah, a full-blown mental asylum. But anyway, because of that, I was in there for 2 weeks. They said, hey, there's nothing wrong with him. We can't keep him. We have to send him, put him back in your care. Lo and behold, she refuses to take me back, so they send me into state care. At this time, I thought this was her choice, because she picked me up from the asylum and said, she said, I'm taking you to the ranch. They said I can't keep you anymore. No, she didn't even say that. She said, fuck. She said something. She said, oh no, she said we're going to Disneyland. That's what she said. And it's like, and I read the records, and now I found out that it wasn't even her choice. The state turned me over, or the hospital turned me over to the state. I still, up to this day, have no fucking clue why she picked me up from the hospital. But whatever, she picked me up from the hospital and drove me over to the group home, which was in a place called Valley Center. It was called the Ranch. Oh my god, this place was fucking gorgeous. I mean, I absolutely loved it. I mean, the staff were great. Food was great. I mean, the staff worked with the kids. There was no fences. You weren't fenced in. There was a creek. There was a river. There was a whole playground and everything. I mean, it was honestly great. But sadly, okay. Sadly, since it was such a low security group home, it wasn't doing that well. Kid-wise, it wasn't getting enough kids to keep open, to pay the bills. They shut down. They transfer me along with about a quarter of the other kids into a place called Herrick's Children's Center. That place is probably the complete opposite of the ranch. It's built like a prison, and in fact, it can be compared to a prison. It's a prison. It can literally, if they take all the beds out, they can make it a fucking prison. I mean, now it's a senior home. Apparently, it's like, so you're locking seniors up now. It's like, what the fuck? But anyway, so I get transferred over there. Staff were horrible. They physically and emotionally abused me. I don't know why, but every time I say that, everyone jumps to sexual abuse. No, thankfully, I was never sexually abused. But, I was emotionally and physically abused. I find out now that it gave me PTSD. I talked a little bit about that yesterday. Well, it wasn't even that gave me PTSD. It was the whole epidemic of everything. I mean, I'll get into the other half after this part, but, shit, I'm sorry, guys. Put into a mental asylum. Fuck. I was thrown across the room into a wooden bedpost. That should define HCC from right there. Like, I'm sorry, guys, but that's the place I was put in. 3 years later, my father finds out I'm up for adoption in state care. He goes to adopt me, calls my grandmother, well, no, not even that. My grandmother calls my grandfather, which was going to be co-signing for the adoption. Because at the time he had, even though it was expunged, it was still, I don't know, apparently the law's fucked up in California, so even if you have a expunged record, you have to have someone co-sign for adoptions. Whatever, he was going through the adoption process, and my grandmother called my grandfather up. They are divorced. She said, if you want Carter, you need to pay $6,000. He refused. He hung up. The next week, I was pulled from adoptions and placed back into the care of my grandmother. I mean, come on. Well, I know, guys. Every time I get I start to get a fucking decent life, it's fucked up. I know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I can't believe I'm saying this, but living with that fucking witch is actually better than living at HCC. But anyway, she's still a witch. It's still horrible living with her. It's a totally different comparison, but whatever. Anyway, but yeah, very bad connection. Shut up. Turn for replacement, no single fucking course or no connection. Going back, but I get pulled from HCC. Now, because I get pulled from HCC, I go into counseling. I was cleared medically. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to focus. This is a really bumpy road. It's really hard to keep control of your vehicle on this particular road. Alright, well, when I go back to move in with her, she buys me an Xbox 360. Lo and behold, she goes to her room, lays down, stays laying down, and sets me in front of a TV and an Xbox. A TV and an Xbox raised me for 3 years. A PC and a TV raised me for the rest. I know, fucked up. I mean, thankfully I had Reap and Garen. I know that sounds stupid. I know they're online friends and all, but honestly, they helped me. They helped me more than anyone else could. I mean, they knew how fucked up I was. They knew I was fucked up mentally at the time. I mean, I had no social skills, but they still stuck with me. And honestly, I appreciate that. I hope they realize how much of a good influence they've made on my life. I mean, yeah, we may have gotten into our fights and all, but without them, I don't know where I would be. But anyway, back to the story. There we go, I'm back. Okay, but she starts feeding my aunt and uncle this shit. Blah, 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 fuckity blah. Of course, none of it's true. I tried telling that to my aunt and my uncle. They wouldn't believe me. Yeah, I kind of did trash my room. And that's kind of the one thing they did have a right getting mad at me about. I mean, but at the same time, I didn't fucking give a crap. I mean, I was with someone who didn't even give a crap about me. Like, I mean, and then when I'm 7.5, she fucking kicks me out of the house. I don't know what kind of sob story she fed to my aunt and uncle. All I know is, like, a few weeks later, they end up texting me saying, how could you, she did everything for you. Come to find out, when I was talking to them, they thought I was only in the group homes for a few weeks, I think they said. A few weeks or 3 months. It's kind of like, holy hell, no, I was in those places for fucking 5 years. And guess who fucking put me there? But anyway. So I moved up here to Washington when I was kicked out of the house. At the time I was told so much fucking lies about my father. It wasn't even funny. My aunt and my uncle were actually the ones who helped me get the courage to reach out to him, and I'm really grateful for that. I don't know where I would be if I was without them. They are... My uncle was literally a father figure to me, near the end. He took me in when my grandmother went into the hospital. He taught me so much stuff. I mean, and then I went back with Denise, and I feel horrible because I blew it all off. I blew all the stuff he taught me off. I totally forgot about it the moment I moved in back with my grandmother. I did stupid. It wasn't anything illegal, but I did something really stupid. I mean, something I didn't know better. And I think that's the moment he realized that he saw me improving, but he saw the moment I started getting better. He saw that. He saw as soon as I went back with my grandmother, he saw it going worse again. And I think that's when the point that he backed off. And I just hope he knows how grateful I am just for those few months I had of normality. I mean, it's tough. And without him, I wouldn't even have a home right now. I would be living on the street, kicked out of the house. I wouldn't even know my dad. He's made so much fucking positive influence on my life, and I wish he could know that. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if he's sad, if he's mad, if he's angry at me. I don't know, and I'm honestly scared to find out. So I texted him when I was going to the Coast Guard. I was really proud of myself. I was going to the Coast Guard. I was going to do something successful in my life. Come to find out, my past was still fucking haunting me, even though I made it all the way through boot camp. I was discharged, and I haven't talked to him since. If I come back and if I tell him, hey, guess what? I dropped out of fucking boot camp. And not only that, if I tell him the fucking reason, he'll think I'm fucking shitting him. He'll think I'm lying. I mean, as far as I can tell, he doesn't believe me on half this crap still. I don't know. I want him to believe me. I do. I want so much. I do. And one of those things I want is for him to forgive me, for him to start talking to me again. I mean, they all think I'm horrible. They do. It's like, I just want them to understand what the hell I went through was. Wow, I actually made good timing today. We're already getting to Amazon, and it's only been 3 minutes, even with traffic. We made good timing, okay. Awesome. Oh. Now that I look at my speedometer, I realize why. Speedometer, I realize now, though. I'm going fucking 60 miles on a 35 zone. Thank God I didn't pass the cop. Anyway. But, back to the story. I move up with my dad pays about $4,500 to move me up here. First class train ticket. Oh my God, the trip was beautiful up here. I move up here. I have so many fucking mental problems. I'm socially awkward. I have so many issues. I had so many issues. I still have some of those issues, but thankfully, I mean, fucking look at me. I'm driving my own fucking car, going to my own fucking job, being independent. I mean, I think that's an improvement from where I've came from. I think it's a definite improvement. And it's kind of funny. I was kind of listening to my vlog from last night, and I was listening to my voice. I realized how fucked my joking voice sounds. So it's like I need to work on getting rid of that. I just need to work on keeping my own tone. Don't do joking tones. Makes me sound stupid. But anyway, so a year later, I joined the Coast Guard, and you guys know that story. I went into it already. And 3 months later, here I am. I have my own car. I mean, not even that. It's like my dad paid $8,000. This car cost me $8,000. I mean, yeah, I'm financing a car in my name with, and gave it to him so I could get this car. That was the deal. I buy him a car. I bought him a shit car. He was fine with it though. He just couldn't drive with this one because he drives for Uber and Lyft, and he can't drive more than 10 years, and this is a 2007. So he went over to. We made a deal. I finance him a car. He helps me finance a car. And then he gives me this car. I thought that was a pretty good deal. So I'm only paying $182 a month for a car that cost $8,000 at 11% interest rate. And that's a first-time buyer. So I think I came off pretty good. I think I came off really good with the deal. So he has that car now, and I have this car. But, I mean, I have my own car. That's the point. I have my own job. I have my own bills. I'm independent. I make my own wage. Pay for my own gas money. I mean, it's amazing how far I've came. Just to think where I was a year ago from today. Well, it wasn't even a year. It was a year and a half ago today. I was still living with my grandmother. And it's kind of hard to think back and think, holy fuck, it's finally over. It's finally fucking over. It's funny because I'm still getting these texts. I don't know whose number it is. It's either my aunt, uncles, or my cousins. It's one of the two. I know Denise would never send me the tip. Sorry, accidentally said the name. Again, they never read. But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to say a name. If any of you guys are listening, I'm sorry, that slipped. And no, I can't take it down, and I won't take it down. This is my story. Anyway, but she doesn't text me, ever. She doesn't even call me. It's kind of funny, because a year ago I got a call from my cousin, I think it was, and she said, why aren't you answering any of her calls? She's been calling you off the hook and you've been ignoring them all, and it's kind of like, what? I called her once. Wait, no, not even that. I called her twice. She never called me. Never ever called me. She never called me, and she told my aunt, or my cousin, or well, probably all of them, that she's been calling me and I've been denying all their calls. It's like, no, she told me never to call her again, so I haven't. Fucking asshole! So you sit there, you see me signaling for it, and you fucking take the spot. Fucking asshole. I'll sit here inside and wait for that spot to open it up. because I saw a guy flying for his windows to defrost. So, open. But, okay. Anyway, but continuing. So... yeah, that's my story, guys, and it only took me 35 minutes to explain, which was perfect because I just got to Amazon, so. Now I'm just waiting for a spot to open up. And, oh my luck, I got a better spot than the fucking bastard. Ah! Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that times 100. And no, you bastard, you aren't going to take that fucking spot. No. No, I see you. I see you putting on your fucking switching gears. You aren't stealing that spot, you fucking asshole. You know, I don't see how it's taking this long for them to defrost their windows. I mean, when we come out, our windows are frozen over, and it doesn't take us this long to get started. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and cut the stream. I hope you guys enjoyed the story. I'll be back tomorrow. Or maybe, yeah, it'll be tomorrow morning. So I'll talk to you guys all then. You guys all have a great night. Bye.